This week it has been 6 months since I quit my job and started this whole new content creator adventure. And to be honest, it has been a rough ride. In a way, I don't really have a lot to show off for those 6 months. Or at least that is what the little voice in the back of my head tells me when I'm lying in bed trying to fall asleep while running over all the bills I have to pay. But I figured out that that voice is wrong. By the way, I went to London a few weeks ago and yeah, I'm going to trickle in some of the footage I shot. Enjoy. I have learned a lot in the last 6 months about myself, about my friends, and about making video content. That knowledge is very valuable. It will help me eventually. But overall, it has been a hard 6 months. I gained that freedom I was looking for. Well, almost. It's not exactly what I wanted it to be, but more about that in a second. The thing is, I can't enjoy that freedom. I'm so stressed out about succeeding in this new career that I can't find the peace of mind to enjoy the liberty that comes with the whole career. It is also making me very, frugal with my resources because I want to extend my runway, which might actually be slowing me down. These are the type of conversations I have with myself every single day. And while it is tiring as I have these talks with myself, my girlfriend, or even my cats, at some point something clicks. I gain an insight. Somewhere in a very distant past, I figured that all you needed to do to succeed as a content creator is showing up. Do your thing, and at some point it will connect with your audience and you'll take off. And you know what? To a certain extent, it does work that way. But you either need to be very lucky or smart to hit the content that works for your audience, or you need to keep doing your thing for so long that the statistics eventually pick you up. And I don't have time for that second scenario, at least not if I want to keep living in a house. So I need to figure out what my viewers want, because I learned that this is what will get your viewer base to grow. You figure out who your target audience is and what they want to see. Now in my case, that has been a bit of a challenge. My main channel is the Post, an Overwatch news channel. See, I started making content before I started doing YouTube, and the brand was known for delivering Overwatch news. So it made a lot of sense to focus on that once I started doing YouTube content, especially since I'm not a high-level player, for instance. I occasionally make strategy content, but let's just say I don't feel qualified to do so. So I have mainly been updating my viewers on the Overwatch news, with a focus on mixing that news with a bit of personality, entertainment, and a neutral voice that has become extremely rare in gaming in general, or maybe the world in general, which has been working both for and against me. My style seems to click with a good deal of the audience, but on the other hand, I'm reporting on a game that once was the hottest thing, well, since sliced bread. But that has been struggling to uphold that reputation in the last 2 years. So there's a lot of big content creators in that formerly gigantic space that have been there for a long time, and they have been growing their channel along with the game. But that space has actually become a lot smaller in the last few years, due to everything that happened with the actual game, but also with the company behind it. In other words, that space is starting to feel very cramped. So only focusing on the news, even with the occasional dad joke, is not the way forward. On top of that, the freedom I was talking about earlier. Well, my schedule might no longer be dependent on an employer, but it is still very dependent on other people. And in this case, that is Blizzard Entertainment. Which is not their fault, I'm not pointing at them, but you know, their rollout of content and info will dictate my schedule. In other words, their success and their planning has an impact on my future, and I do not like that. So I'm going to change that. I am still going to continue with the Omnic post, but I'll be optimizing the time I put into that channel, or in that content in general, which is not something that my viewers or my followers, subscribers will notice, I think. Because in the end, there's going to be just as much content, maybe even more. The news, for instance, will be in shorter videos, or even in short form content, like TikTok or shorts on YouTube. And I'll still be making long form content, but that will be focused on my opinions, lore, and some stuff that I'm researching. Those are the topics that have been doing better on my channel. Because again, that's what I need to do. I need to figure out who my target audience is and what you guys want to see. And the way I do that is by reading the comments and looking at my statistics, which are both scary at times. But it is actually what helped me to make this big decision. I'm optimizing the workload on the Omnic post because I want to pick up an older brand again. A brand I actually had a ton of fun with back in the day. Geek and Plunder. Over the last 2 years, I've done several experiments to try and figure out what type of content I wanted to make. And just a few weeks ago, I put all these experiments next to each other. And I started comparing the statistics, the brand identity, and how much fun I was having with the making of that content. And I quickly figured out that Geek and Plunder was ahead of all the other experiments and even the Omnic post by a huge margin. The stats for such a small channel were exceptionally good, and I've always loved the branding. It just needs a little more tamesies. Right, admit, that was cheesy, but a good kind of cheesy. The plan is to push the Geek and Plunder brand in a rather specific niche. A niche with plenty of potential, but where my identity can stand out. And I'm going to use everything that I learned in the last 6 months to get that channel rolling again, starting in April. So I would suggest you go subscribe. Prepare yourself for a lot of geeky news, fun unboxings, and I'm even planning to do some exclusive interviews that have a bit of a metal touch to them. More about that later. It is going to be a ton of fun, and I cannot wait. Look, the previous 6 months might have been rough, like I said at the start of the video. But I need to use the struggle, the blood, sweat, and tears, and most importantly, the lessons that I learned in the last 6 months to make the next 6 months better. And who knows, in the 6 months after that, I might actually be able to start kind of enjoying the fruits of my labor. Hopefully. With your support, of course. In any case, I'm going to keep you guys updated right here on this channel, as always. And as I've said multiple times before, I keep repeating it in almost every single video, but I definitely want to make more videos for this channel. I just have so much fun doing it. But yeah, it's a matter of time. On the other hand, I'm optimizing the work that I'm doing, and summer is coming, so I'll be spending more time out of the house than I did this winter. Yeah, and I'll definitely have a lot to talk about in the next 6 months, so yeah, stick around. In any case, thank you very much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye bye.